Kel, we got Matt, we got V. Welcome to the show, everybody. Congrats on the win. Kel, are you glad that you didn't go back to bed?
I'm about to go back to bed right now. I'm like falling asleep. I woke up at 4:30 for that, for context, if anybody is going to try to call
Proper
me
fan.
a plastic fan.
Proper fan.
4:30 in the morning. And after the beginning of that game, I was ready to go back to bed. But I'm glad I did not, because that was quite a comeback. We've seen this before at a City. They did the exact same thing in the treble season. They went down 0-2 to Crystal Palace, and then Holland had a hat trick. And it was a 4-2. So we did a little bit better. Yeah, and since I literally rolled out of bed at 4:30 and turned the game on, I didn't have time to overreact to that lineup, but that was the lineup. It was like 2 center backs, a second striker, and 7 midfielders. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting lineup. Really shaky start, but what a comeback, man. Kevin De Bruyne just took this team on his back. I still think he has a lot to give to this team, and I'm very disappointed he's leaving, because I think he still has that in his locker, but it just depends on how many games a week. Like, I think he's got 1 game a week in him, but the club clearly has decided he doesn't. But yeah, nice comeback. We obviously could have scored more goals too, because there's I think Kev hit the post. McAtee missed a bunch of maybe it was McAtee who hit the post, but there was a bunch of missed chances. So yeah, crazy start. Just another crazy Crystal Palace game. They're a bogey team, so these kind of games just happen a lot between the two of us, and happy to get the win. I was I don't care about the performance right now. This was a must-win game for me, and they won the game, so I'm happy.
No, I listen. I bet you're happy, especially as it could have and very nearly went 3-0, which maybe have been an impossible position to come back from. It may have just killed off any momentum or hope that you guys had. So to almost go 3-0 down to within minutes-wise in the game, like 10, 15 minutes later, because including past half time, suddenly we're 4-2 up. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, these games just kind of happen. It seems like between Palace at the Etihad, we just seem to have these weird games against them, and this was no different. Just absolute craziness. There's a lot of group chats going on, so there's quite some discussion going on. I definitely said that we might not make Europe if we didn't at all. I was a little panicky. But yeah, they turned it around, and so credit to them, man. And let me just shout out Ederson, man. He's got as that person in the chat stole my thunder. He's got more goal contributions this season than Rasmus Højlund does, and he also has the same amount of assists as Martin Odegaard. So, and that's your keeper. So maybe someday we'll get our dream of seeing him play in the outfield.
Maybe. I think Fabian Barthez did that once. It can happen. V, obviously a brilliant comeback inspired by KDB. How brilliant was he today? And do you think today was just a reminder to people to not sleep on what a legacy player he's been in the Premier League?
Well, Terry, listen, frustrating start of the game. Much appreciation to KDB. The man's brilliant. I got to speak. Let me speak to my Manchester City fans that are tired of Pep. Let me speak to them for a second.
I'm not one of them. Just to reiterate, I am not one of them.
Yeah. No. Let me speak to all those that are hating on Pep. This guy played an 11 that we all questioned. When I say we all, I'm using we all, but you'll see where I'm going here. Pep started with this 11 and had everybody in an uproar. Because why is he still playing the likes of a Kova? Why is he still playing the likes of a Gundogan? You know what I mean? Why is he playing Rico Lewis? So when you mentioned it early in the game, we could have been down 0-3. Like, what are you doing, Pep? Why are you so stubborn? Why aren't you coming up with something new? Yeah, you made changes from what you did versus United, but why is it this? We should have seen Kosanov. Right? We should have seen him on the pitch. We should have seen maybe Oscar Bob on the pitch. Maybe we should have seen something else. Savinho, Doku. What are you doing, Pep? Yeah, we won 5-2, but that's not because of you, Pep. That's not because of the 11 that you started. That's not because of the tactics that you maybe adjusted at halftime. That had nothing to do with you, Pep. That's the players. I'm speaking to all my Pep outers. This is what the belief is. The whole turnaround was because of the players, not Pep. Pep, it must be you're washed. Pep, you can't be at this level anymore. You're not ready for this. Now that I put that aside, let me speak to KDB. Let me speak to KDB, please, because KDB is phenomenal. And Kel's got it absolutely right. It's unfortunate that we got to say goodbye to him this season, but it's one of those where is the club deciding to say goodbye a year early rather than a year late? Because I do believe that KDB could give us one game a week with that brilliance, but what game is it going to be? Is it going to be league games? Is it going to be some of the cup runs? Is it going to be Champions League? We don't know what kind of signings we're going to have, and how do you put KDB in a position to maybe quote unquote play a lesser game, or how do you put the loyalty that many of the Pep crazies, right, the ones that aren't happy with Pep, how do you then show so much loyalty to KDB and have him play Champions League and not having to prove himself? So I'm unfortunately I'm caught because I want KDB here longer. I've been saying that, but I also know that the game probably passes him to be able to deliver for us where we play every 3 days. That's not the KDB. What he showed us today, the captain armband, is exactly why he has it, because he captained us. He responded and he kept and was relentless. Early in that game, Rico Lewis delivered a pass to him and he released that to Marmoush. Marmoush, a little unfortunate, didn't get the goal, but KDB was on it from the jump. And I was happy with what we saw. So I see you want to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I'm thinking out loud. I'm very expressive when I think. I'm sorry. I understand why you want to keep him, and I've listened to both you and Kel say that. What I would say is that what we saw from KDB today used to be a very regular occurrence. Very regular. It's very intermittent now when you get these performances. Yeah. And I think where I agree with what your club's doing is I think there have been too many examples in the Premier League of hanging on to players for too long, if that makes sense. I feel that where it would be a mistake would be to just let him go and go, Foden, it's your berth now because Foden's already there. I think what you've got to do if you let KDB go is it needs to be someone of the level of a Wirtz, someone who can come in and take that mantle and can also deliver for you on a more regular basis. But I do get that where you're coming from. You see that today and just think, well, even if we just use him once a week next season, could he do a job for us? And there is a possibility that the player that comes in to replace him doesn't perform, if that makes sense. And then you will look back and go, oh, we should have kept him.
There's always Terry. There's always the look back.
I get that.
There's always the look back. There's always the second guessing. That's not going anywhere. That happened today. Second guessing Pep with the 11 that he decided, right? So the questioning on whether KDB should be here or not, I think I just hope he gets. Unfortunately, I would have loved a farewell where he's leaving with a prem. Hopefully, we can get that FA Cup and he leaves showing us those armpits one last time. But the KDB that we saw in the regular every 3 days playing and delivering, I don't think we have that anymore. But he's been brilliant for us. And when you talk about maybe not saying bye to KDB and Foden, here are the keys, we've never done that as a club. If you remember, with regards to our midfield, we would always, quote unquote, be stacked. David Silva, KDB, Gundogan. I don't think we're going to lose a KDB and not bring in someone else because it's really a tandem. It's a partnership within that midfield. I was happy with the comeback, and this comeback happened with Pep not making any subs. This comeback didn't happen with Pep bringing all the players to the sideline with a injury time or a water break. These players continued to press like they were doing, and the ball went in the back of the net. That's what happens. Sometimes you're just that unfortunate. Yeah. And at the same time, Terry, you're a fighter. You're a fighter, and let me try to present this example. You would prepare for months and months with your approach towards your opposition, and on the night of the fight, the day of the fight, maybe that fighter who's on the opposite side of you brings in a different wrinkle. That doesn't mean that what you did was wrong. That doesn't mean that your approach towards the fight is wrong. But in the moment, are you going to adjust? Are you going to be able to get the win? Too much fans are like, Pep got it wrong because of the 11 that he selected. That's the approach, and we'll adjust. We'll try to see what wrinkles we have to iron out. We'll see how the opposing team or fighter are set up to adjust. Like, that's the message that I get. Some people don't understand competition.
And this is also where there is a difference between reviewing today's game. I hope we keep me awake, Kel. No, I'm joking. I know you're tired. I know you got up
I'm
early.
really tired.
I know.
I'm
I know.
struggling here. I'm
I'm
sorry,
only joking.
guys. I'm
No,
on the struggle bus.
I understand. I had a very late night last night. My daughter came in here earlier and she talking to me and she stopped. I was like, what? She looked at me. I started to panic. I said, what? She went, Daddy, your eyes are melting. I said, what? She went, they're all dark under there. I said, I'm just tired, baby. She noticed how tired I looked. I was like, no, I'm just tired. This is the difference though, V, between a match review that we're doing now and talking about something on a more sort of a more high level overview of your season. So I think criticizing your teams, and I've mentioned some of the issues today with how you started defensively, but then you guys turned it around. So when we're talking about this game, I still think that maybe 80% of the conversation today should be about KDB's performance, O'Reilly, McAtee, Mamouche's goal, the things that were good. I think there is a place for, I still think and I'm talking like I'm a City fan, we've got to improve this, that, and the other. When maybe you're talking Monday on the Top 6 show, as an example, maybe then you go into a bit more, this is still really worrying me. We're starting too many games slowly. We're conceding too many chances. That's an area that we've got to, if you're seeing it happen on a regular basis. But I do hear you. There is you guys responded. And the fact that you basically went 3-0 down, the goal was ruled out, and then it almost triggered something in you. It was also very interesting to watch as well. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of things to be positive about today as City fans, and I think City fans should be doing that.